Okay, let's see if this is working. I'm going to my Facebook page right now just to make sure. And it looks like we are. Two guys giving horrible advice. Ask your questions. All right.
Thank you
Hey,
for inviting me, Josh.
yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is Joshua Jack. And as you know, I do Facebook Lives from time to time. And usually I try to focus on positive things. And I'm still positive regardless of whatever I put on here. I have with me Tim Ezo. And Tim Ezo is a really good friend of mine. I've met him through One Funnel Away Challenge. And we've actually kind of worked together over the past year over several different projects and ideas and thoughts. And real great guy, a lot of great knowledge, a lot of great experience. And so, this is something else I'm going to maybe start doing if this is interesting to those of you that are watching right now. Two guys giving horrible advice. Now, that's not the intent. We're going to try to give you the best advice that we can. But I want to preface it with, hey, ask some questions, get some maybe okay answers. But this only works if you chat with us, and if you're watching now, if you want to say hello, tell us where you're watching from. Be sure to pop on here, and that's a cool thing is with this StreamYard, I can actually pop it up here and do that, and then I also have this cool little banner system. There you go. Don't take our advice seriously, but there might be some tidbits of truth in there somewhere. I think this is a great program. In fact, if you're into doing things like this, StreamYard, I'm not selling StreamYard. I'm not an affiliate of them, but I would definitely recommend that because I think this is such a cool thing to have. And you can also have, once I hide all this stuff, you have our names on here. My name's Joshua Jack, like I said, and this is Tim Ezo. So, Tim, and Tim has a fascinating story, and we may get into that today if you don't mind, Tim. We'll talk about you.
Oh no,
No
that is
pressure.
not what
No.
this was supposed to be about. No, just
Yeah,
joking.
yeah.
Yeah, I might share some things. Depends.
Well,
What story exactly are you talking about here?
well, I think it's so cool that you worked, in a restaurant, right? And you were a cook, and you did that, and then you got tired of it, and you decided, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing something else. And you created an Amazon store, and you've done pretty successful in that, and that's led on to other things. And I just think that's such a cool thing. Hey, Justin says hello. Justin, man, I appreciate you. In fact, Justin reached out to me earlier to work on some logos. So, because I'm going to get some experience doing that now. So I'm always interested to learn new things. So Tim, since your transition from working for other people and now you're working for yourself, and what are the biggest, and here again, everyone, if you're watching this now, if you have a question, hop on here. This is supposed to be an open conversation. I know I'm talking a lot right now. It's only because I don't like the quietness. And this is something new. And so we're still trying to find our tempo here. But seriously, if you have any questions, pop them on here. We may have a good conversation. We may give horrible advice. That's the whole point, giving horrible advice. But anyway, getting back to Tim, since this is something we can talk about now until maybe the conversation starts, or maybe.
Where can I find toilet paper?
Veronica asks, where can I find toilet paper? Well, Veronica.
There's a local restaurant here who is doing it's like their promotion to try to get people to buy delivery food from them or whatever. They're selling hand sanitizer and toilet paper rolls along with their food.
That's actually pretty smart. Carol says hi. Hey, Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Hey. And actually, surprisingly, a lot of people don't think about the small grocery stores or the small mom and pop stores. So in fact, that's where we scored some. And let me tell you something. When I was out scavenging this past week, we went to Dollar General, and they had a whole section full. So don't forget the Dollar General and the what was the other one? What's the other one that's their Dollar
Tree
or something like that? So, hey, it was a dumb no, it wasn't a dumb question. I know you're being silly, but hey, there's a silly answer. So so be sure when you're scavenging, don't forget those secondary stores. They might be out there to help. So that was a great question, Veronica. Thank you so much for participating in this. So going back, Tim, I'm sure it's been scary, but what was the biggest blessing that you've learned over this past year of working for other people to working for yourself?
Probably the biggest thing was realizing that I could trust myself. That I found when I was working for other people, that they didn't necessarily trust what I was doing, and they wanted me to just go by the book and their rules rather than let me kind of think outside the box and do a better job than what they were asking.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of realized that, like when I transitioned into working for myself, I had to trust myself, and I realized that what I was doing and the ways that I was going about things and trying to solve problems and whatnot, it was actually working very well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was something that, like, working for somebody else, they kind of tried to stop me from doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like that was the biggest curse, was not thinking enough of myself and not being able to take action on what I felt like in my my gut or my heart that I needed to do to make it a better situation, or to do the project you know to the fullest. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they're just kind of like, just do it this way, here's the guidelines, and instead I would kind of try to go above and beyond to make the end consumer much happier. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I can do what I feel like I need to do to have a higher standard for the people that I serve, it's so much better this way. And it definitely was a tough thing to try to rely on myself in every aspect when I had my own business, but like, it's been something that's also been a blessing, because I've gotten to learn all different ropes and certain things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, just kind of it was just it's I think a lot of times we don't fully trust in ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we all have pretty good ideas of what we need to do, what needs to get done, and I think being able to trust in yourself is huge.
Hmm.
See that one
Well,
comment.
we have a couple questions here. First off, Daniel, we'll get to you in a second. But first, Carol asks, what do you guys suggest for gifts for guys and hubbies? Well, it depends on the guy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, something that I do, and here again, this isn't, for a guy or a hubby, but something I do for my wife is throughout the year, I listen to things that she says. And I take a mental note throughout, like one time I remember her saying, "Oh, I really like this leather jacket." And then 6 months later, when it was her birthday or her Christmas gift, guess what? I got her that jacket. And there's little things like that when someone says something in passing, I usually try to keep my ears out to kind of put it in the back of my mind, so that way. I think one time she said something like she wanted a neck stretcher, like, because she works outside a lot, so she gets a lot of tenseness right here in the neck. So there's this apparatus that kind of stretches that whole. Anyway, long story short, I filed it in the back of my mind. I got it for her, and that helped out. So I'm assuming that would probably be the same. It would work the same, because
Yeah.
if I say something in passing, like, "Hey, I think this would be cool," and someone surprised me with it, oh, I didn't even think you were listening, because Lord knows. I mean, because I know my wife thinks I don't listen half the time, anyways. What do you think about that, Tim? What kind of question you got, or what kind
Honestly,
of answer?
that's how I go about it with my wife as well. I think that would work well for a guy. I mean, there's got to be certain things that he's already into, and then maybe there is like a next level version of it where it's just like even more badass, or you know what I'm saying. And I think that would be a great gift idea. Whether he's into like cars or tools or certain other things, there might be a newer, like, more amazing version of that tool or something that they came out with, and he
Wait,
would probably appreciate that.
actually, it kind of goes back to that whole uh, give them what they wait, listen to what they want, but give them what they need.
Hmm.
And that actually kind of works out great, because a lot of times they may want something, but what they need is something to help out with that want, right?
Absolutely.
So if they want to enjoy being outside, if your husband likes being outside, or if your husband likes being inside, whatever. Well, what helps them with that? Like if someone likes to be outside fishing, well, what will help them do that? Or if they like to be inside playing a video game, what would help them do that? I don't know. I mean, these are just some thoughts.
Another great idea might be a hazmat suit, so your husband can go outside and live life to its fullest.
And here again, going back to ask some questions, get some maybe okay answers. All right. So the next thing, Daniel, I went to high school with Daniel. Daniel, I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm glad that we're reconnected on Facebook. You're going back to, you just described the death of American innovation, middle management.
Oh, so true.
You know, it's interesting because going back to what you were saying earlier about, you know, when you have ideas, and this is the thing about being an entrepreneur or being someone that's a little bit more artistic or being a little bit outside the box is, you know, we're always looking for ways to streamline or fix or, you know, get from point A to point B a whole lot faster. And sometimes when you're at the top, it works great. When you're at the bottom, it's not so great because you have that middle management in the center that holds because, and I get it, but I don't, you know, and it's kind of like, it kind of goes back to that, you know, I don't know. When I was in the Marine Corps, we had projects that we had to get done. Right. So instead of working by the hour of like stretching things out, right, we were trying to get it done as quick as possible. And when you want to get things done as quick as possible, you think of some outside of the box thoughts to get from point A to point B so you can get on liberty and you can go home and have fun, right? I mean, that was the whole point. And I think the problem with middle management or some businesses, when they get to a certain level, granted, you have to have those SOPs and those guidelines in place, but at the same time, there has to be a little bit of mercy there. I mean, yes, 90% of the time, this is supposed to be this way, but 10% of the time, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, that's tough for businesses to run. What are your thoughts, Tim?
I think that I agree with you. It's kind of like a catch-22 in the sense that, like, you know, you need management to help out, but at the same time, that middle management can be the death of, you know, people believing in themselves. And what I've noticed is that, like, a lot of middle management people will be like, this is how you do it. Don't do it a different way. And that kind of restricts people from being themselves and adding their own little touch and feeling like their creativity is worth something.
You know,
yeah, go ahead. No, please.
Well, actually, this brings up a good thought. Commander's intent. Did I ever tell you about this when we've chatted in the past?
No, not at all.
Commander's intent. And commander's intent is basically whenever there's a mission or something that or a goal that you want to hit, obviously nothing ever survives contact. And what I mean by that is any battle plan that you draw up or any idea or anything that you decide to put together, whenever you come in contact with the enemy or whenever you come in contact with actually implementing that, you're going to have, it's not going to work out how you expect it. So when you have a commander's intent, and the commander's intent is the goal, right? Before you start off any mission, any organization, any business, what is the goal? What is the commander's intent? If the commander's intent is to provide service, do this, and really for middle management, you really need to have high-level managers that get the whole idea, right? They get the idea of where they want to go, and they duplicate themselves through middle management. So the middle management knows that, okay, the overarching goal is this. So that way, if we get off a little off center, at least we can have the commander's intent or the goal to shoot for. And I think that would help out a lot, especially in the middle management and those types of businesses to kind of, you know, yes, you can go off script a little bit, but as long as you have that as your guiding light, you'll always come back to that guiding light.
Absolutely. And I think that what I've noticed is a lot of middle management tends to be micromanagement people who are just great at micromanagement. And I think that's the worst thing ever because they tend to be the ones who are restricting everybody and they're not looking at the greater picture. Whereas I had at the job that I left, I had a amazing manager who would sit back and, like, as long as the goal was done, like you're saying, he'd be happy, but he would let people kind of do their own thing and also allow people to, you know, chat and have fun. Whereas, you know, some of the other micromanagement. People would make sure that people were quiet and focused, and that kind of stopped the morale and stopped people from wanting to work and do a good job. And but the way that he did things was amazing. I actually watched him because I watched how he would sit back and do things, and it was amazing how he would have faith in his people that they would get
Yes.
it done. And we
Actually,
loved him.
and Daniel brings that up. Daniel says, "Thanks, man. Efficiency by innovation with you can read this,
Absolutely.
people. But trust your employees to be able to adapt." And I think that's another thing is people. Sometimes people that aren't deserving, or maybe they can play the system very well and they get promoted, right? And then they, since they don't have people skills, they start focusing on what they do have control, and they do have control over you, right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh man,
and that's where the problem lies is they don't trust their people, and leaders are supposed to be lifters, right? Leaders are supposed to be there to help folks get to the next, to replace yourself. Really, that's the whole point of a leader, is to develop your people to replace you, basically. But a lot of people don't see it like that. A lot of people see people as resources, and with that kind of mindset, that really stunts the growth of an organization, because it belittles everyone. I mean, because no one wants to be a number, and that's why a lot of people, that's what I have to find that a lot of strife is because of that. All right, people, ask some more questions. We'll give you some more okay answers. But so until we get the next question, so I have focused on taking, so right now we're all staying at home. We're all quarantined. I haven't left the house except for scavenging missions for the Tin Pot Dictators. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and then people get in those situations, and they I think it's fear. They don't know what they're doing, so they.
I think you're right.
And then they're also afraid of people outdoing them too. So they put people. So what happens is people usually separate those underneath them, right? Don't talk. Let me separate you in groups, so that way you don't talk to each other. And then also they go after yes men, because yes men don't say no. And then also they don't question. And so then it doesn't help the organization at all. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some areas in business that become a stovepipe. I can't even think. What's that word? A choke point, and it ruins everything. But yeah, what else? What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to say, since we're all quarantined now, and I decided to spend some time focusing on learning something new. So I'm learning Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and as you know, Tim and I are actually doing this T-shirt business, Brothers Jack, and I want to get better at making logos. I want to get better at making T-shirts and design. So I bought this graphics tablet. And so it came in the mail today, and actually Amazon, I'm really impressed. They have, the past few weeks, they have been super fast. Like, they'll tell you one date, and they'll come in 2 days prior. And I think they're doing that on purpose, just to help people's mentality, because it's always nice to, oh, hey, this came in early. And I've noticed that consistently since the start of this. So this thing is huge, right? This thing is a graphics tablet. And what you do, especially when you're using Photoshop and Illustrator, this becomes your mouse. This is the pad that you use your mouse on, and you can get more intricate with your designs. So that's what I'm doing. What, for those of you that are watching, what are you doing during this quarantine time? What are you using? If you are quarantined, what are you doing to better yourself?
And I'd like to add to what you're saying. I think this is great. What I've noticed is a lot of people, because of the quarantine, they're stuck at home or whatever. I've noticed that a lot of people are taking this as an opportunity to do nothing, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go for it.
Right.
But I've noticed that this is actually a great opportunity where a lot of people are they're caught up in their head, and they're caught up in like the news and all the stuff going on. They're afraid to take action and do something. But
Hmm.
I found this is a huge opportunity to get yourself ahead of things in life,
That's
because
true.
especially when it comes to money, because a lot of people I know are worried about money.
Right.
Um, my Amazon business, which I honestly expected to kind of slow down because I expected everybody to stop spending money
Hmm.
because they're not working, it's picked up. And for whatever reason, people are buying more than they have ever been buying. It's almost kind of like Christmas
That's
time.
interesting.
Yes, I kind of shocked. And
Well, I think it's one of those, like, I've done more buying since I've been home because I can't
exactly.
get out. So, like I'm buying this graphics tablet. Justin, he says he's training. He gives him more time to train for his first
Oh
10. Dude, that's
wow,
awesome.
that's
Good,
huge.
man. I'm frustrated because since the start of this, like, I haven't, like, I've, I go to CrossFit. That's what I did. And I was getting into shape and I was really doing well. And then this stuff hit, and man, it's thrown me for a loop, man. It's hard to work out on your, well, for me, it's hard to work out on my own. I like the group setting of working out in a group.
Yeah.
So Justin, man, that's fantastic. But no, Tim, that's interesting. I think you're right. And I wrote something the other day on Facebook, and I don't know if anybody that's watching this remembers it, but I said, sometimes in life you're going to feel like you get socked in the face, and to it's okay to take a knee. It's okay to take a breather. It's okay to take a step back. I'll be honest with you. The first 2 weeks of this was pretty crappy. Like,
Yeah.
I felt drained. And the thing is if you let this, when it comes to what's going on now, you control your thoughts. You control your emotions. You control your emotions through your thoughts. And what I mean by that is if you focus on the fear or if you focus on the unknown, well, guess what? That's what's going to grow in your life. But there comes a certain point where you have to say, no more. I'm done with that. I'm going to use my time wisely, and I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on what I do have time for. So, for the past couple weeks, when this kicked off, and we're staying at home now, it's tough to be motivation. It's tough to keep on going when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm blah. It's okay. It's okay to feel like that. But there comes a point where you have to stop it. It's okay to do it for a little bit, but you have to stop. You have to get up. You have to wipe off the dust, and then you have to keep going. And that's what I started doing. Like, this is one thing I know for myself. I know that I'm going to get punched in the face. And when I do, I take a week off. That's what I do. I don't beat myself up anymore. I'm like, okay, I'm taking a week off to kind of get back into what I need to focus on. And then I start focusing on something that's beneficial, like learning something new. Because, like Tim was saying, yes, you can use this time and just not do anything. Or you can use this time to develop something, because time's going to go anyway. This summer is going, I can't believe we're already in April of this year.
I know.
I mean, this year has gone by like this. 2021 is going to come up, and it's going to come regardless of what you do. So if you take that time, and nothing happens overnight, but if you start now in whatever endeavor that you're going to work on, you're going to, like, Tim could still be working at that restaurant that he hated. And now he'd be really screwed because he probably wouldn't have a job right now.
Yep.
But he got tired of where he was at. So he started developing skills and learning. I'm sorry. Once I get on this, and I just start like,
Phil, please go ahead.
No, but it's true. I mean, because it's so near and dear, and life is really what you make it. If you take the time, and you can learn anything in life. You can learn how to create an Amazon business, and look at you now. That's what you do. You don't work for anybody else. You work for yourself. Justin says they canceled the run, but he's going to do it on his own, and that's fantastic. That's awesome. That's motivational.
And that's the kind of mentality I hope that people pick up, because, like, think of how many people I'm sure that a lot of people have noticed that their friends or family or other people that they know are using this time as like a vacation. And like I said, that's fine. But if you can use this time while you're probably bored at home or whatever, or kind of, cabin fever going on, you can go learn something else, start up, your own kind of side business or whatever it is, even making masks out of cloth. A lot of people are doing that and donating it, or, selling it to even, like, old people homes and whatnot. But if you use this time to build something while everybody else is not, once this whole pandemic is over, you're going to be way ahead of the curve where everybody else is just starting to get back into working and doing things and all that stuff. And you're going to be way more better off financially. And then you can start living your life on your own terms and ways like that. And I think last recession we had, a bunch of companies decided to start up. And now they're huge companies like Credit Karma, WhatsApp. I mean, it just goes to show that in times like this, there's new problems that arise. And if you can go out and solve them, then you're going to blow up because a lot of other companies are dying and people aren't spending money on those companies. But if you create up a new company that is useful now and will be useful in the future, then I think that you have a really good chance of making it.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Is a lot of times, even what did Warren Buffett say? You buy when everybody else is selling, or you basically do things that other people aren't doing at that time. Like right now, everybody's sitting at home doing whatever, feeling bad. And trust me, I get it. I've been there.
Me too.
Let's see.
Me too.
Daniel says, I'm still working, but I'm also developing my carpentry skills on my off days,
That's
building
huge.
bunk bed. Dude, that's fantastic. Because here's the thing, Daniel, and Tim knows this, and I think most of you that get it. Once you have a skill, once you learn a skill, or once you learn something, no one can take it away. You will forever know how to do that. Just like, me taking this taking this Illustrator course this past week, I have learned things that I'm going to be able to utilize for the rest of my life. And I think it's going to, pay me back tenfold here shortly. Yeah. And what's funny is, and I think I told you this already, but I used to think Udemy was a joke. Like that Udemy, like courses online, they have like all this, get it for $10. And when I first came across it, I was like, yeah, really, what are you going to learn for $10? But man, I went there and I actually got some courses and I'm like, yeah, I'll try it out. Dude, that's been, they're always on sale. And I think that's their shtick. It's like, yeah, they have courses on there for $200-$300, but if you just wait a week, they're going to go on sale for $10. I think that's their little hook. But man, they're great. I mean, they're really worth more than the $10 that you're going to spend. Honestly, they're worth the $200, but since they're on sale all the time, they're definitely worth it for anything, like whatever it is you want to learn, whether it be design stuff or business stuff or whatever. But go ahead.
I would like to also say that if you can figure out a business, even if it's something that's not like a new business, like, doing carpentry or whatever, if you can find out a new skill set for yourself that works in this time, you're going to be golden like throughout the rest of the years. Because if another one of these happen, which is most likely going to happen, I don't know when, but at some point, whether it's 10, 20 years, whatever, you will be able to still use this skill that you can, use during tough times like this.
Right.
And I just, go ahead, please.
No, and then going back to Daniel's thing, if he's working on his art carpentry skills, dude, you need to start a YouTube channel. Daniel's Carpentry Learning YouTube channel, whatever. Or you have something better named. But you start a YouTube channel and you show people and you're genuine with them and say, hey, listen, I'm learning this skill. And you start showing your skill set over the time period. Like if I went outside and started a YouTube channel on carpentry, it would be really crappy. But it'd be like me building, putting 2 blocks of wood together. Like, and hey, that was great. But even that is good because over time, you can, people can see that growth over time, and then they can actually see how you're doing things, and then, and then you become known for that, and then you can link up with some stores for like affiliate marketing or whatever, or your own tools at that point. Like let's say you do gain a following of however many, then you can work out some deals with some of these tool sites to get stuff for free, or sponsorship or whatever. So there's a lot of neat things that people can do that a lot of people don't. That don't, I wouldn't say they don't think about it, they're just not aware of. And I think that'd be pretty cool. So let's go back to the comment section, Batman. Let's see. Learn something new every day. Dude, the only Cisco I know is the old oil. Didn't Cisco come in the can like the old Cisco oil or whatever? Cisco. Never mind. Maybe it's an old. You might not be old enough, Tim. You know, Daniel. I know that you used to.
Wow, his own forge. That's awesome.
I think I've seen actually him and another guy that I know. Steve Kimsey's brother, Matt. Crisco is what it was.
Okay, I was all right.
Thanks, Daniel. Actually, a pretty cool story about Crisco is when my uncle was in Vietnam, he was a Marine, and my grandmother cooked a chicken, put it in a can of Crisco because it's oil, right? It's all like, and she sent it to him in Vietnam, and all he had to do was put it over the flames, and it melted off, and it was all good to eat. And I'm like, who would have thought of that? I wouldn't have. I mean,
I wouldn't have thought of that either.
No, but anyway, I remember, Daniel. I remember that you and yeah. So Matt Kimsey, which he's probably not watching this, and I don't know if he ever will, but Matt Kimsey, who's Steve Kimsey's brother, you've taught coaches, video, that we play video games with him on Call of Duty. Yeah, absolutely. So his brother, and he's on Facebook, and he's developed a talent. And honestly, I've been telling him all the time, like, hey, you need to do this. You need to do this. But he started taking like little nails, like little house nails that you use to build things, and he started making them into little knives, like little miniature knives. And I'm like, that was really cool. And then he's gotten bigger and better, and here he is a couple years later, and now he's making some really pretty neat things. And that just goes to show. It just goes to show that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, and and you develop the skills over time. And the cool thing is once you learn that stuff, it gives you so much confidence over other stuff, or it kind of gives you like this. I don't know. It just gives you a new perspective on life, because once you realize, like, there's universal truths of lives, right? If you take the time to learn something, and you develop that skill, well, then you realize, oh, holy crap, I can take this and utilize this for this. Or if I want to learn this, I'm going to utilize this for this. Benjamin Hampton. Is this like car talk for the internet? Maybe. I hope so. It'd be nice to do this full time.
Yeah.
And Benjamin, if you have any questions, you might get some okay answers. Actually, Benjamin actually has a really cool thing going on. Maybe he might want to talk about it. He got involved with a business lately that helps businesses develop 501k, like charities. And through that, you can get some, I'm butchering it totally, by the way, and he's probably going to pop on here and fix it. But basically the gist is there's a lot of grants and a lot of free money right now for businesses that have that a part of their business. And you can utilize that money for marketing. And it's really kind of cool because he's linked up with basically he's in a purple ocean right now. I mean, it's fantastic stuff. He's the guy that needs to talk to. So if you have a business and you want more money for your marketing, talk to Benjamin Hampton. He'll set you up straight. He told me about that last week. So that's something new.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. No, when he told me about it, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
I felt like a caveman. I'm like, oh, that's really So, but anyway, going back to learning things, like if you learn things, I mean, it's amazing because once you learn something, not made learning, there's a difference between going to high school, going to college because you're made to, or because you're felt obligated to. Yeah. But once you take that time and you learn to develop a skill or something over time, just the act of that unlocks so much potential, because you realize that you can take that and learn anything at that point. So, yeah.
And I follow this one guy, Alex Sharfin, and he was basically explaining how this what's going on with the economy is totally going to change jobs going forward. I think that a lot of companies are going to realize that they can send employees home and they can work from home. And so there's going to be a lot of different changes with jobs, which is why, again, I like to tell people that if you can get new skill sets or do something for this time period, go for it. I think it's the best thing you could do.
You should make a shirt that says personal responsibility. Maybe we will. Which, by the way, 10% of all proceeds or profits from Brothers Jack does go to Mission 22, which helps combat PTSD in folks. So it is a important thing. A lot of people have it. So, we've been at war for 20 years now. Don't even get me started on that. But anyway, actually, I think we are going to do. So the whole vision for Brothers Jack, and if you have any questions or comments or advice, hey, hop on in. We'll talk. But the whole point for Brothers Jack, and I think I'm going to change the name from Brothers Jack Apparel to Brothers Jack Trading Company or Trading and Apparel Company. I don't know, something like that. Because I want to do coffee cups. I want to do all this other stuff. And I feel like if it just says apparel, then, and I want to move beyond T-shirts. But T-shirts, that's where it's at right now. So, the T-shirt is to basically build the capital, because we're bootstrapping this. I'm not spending too much money on this. Tim and I, we're bootstrapping this until eventually it can take care of itself, and then hopefully bring in other products. But the whole point of Brothers Jack is to build it into a men's. I don't even want to say shop. I want it to be a men's brand, right? I want people that, a little bit lumberjack, a little bit classy, a little bit, get the job done. And but I also like my humor, right? Because I have a weird sense of humor, and some of you do too. And so the whole point of the T-shirts is to have just a little bit of an offbeat humor. But I'm also thinking about adding in some positive quotes or positive thinking quotes. Like I put one on the other day called "Always Forward," and and that's the thing. It's like life. You're always forward. If you live your life looking back, man, you're in for some tough times. Justin, I'll remember that. Here's a link for anyone wanting to look at getting the 120K. You just described structure. No, I didn't. I described Brothers Jack. I don't even know what structure is. Actually, I would like to have it kind of like, what was that one? Duluth? Was it Duluth?
Duluth, yeah.
And there was another one.
Yeah, what's the other one?
I don't know. But,
I
want it to be like a military. I would like to take like 1940 styles and then like modernize it. And then, like I said, a little bit classy, a little bit. Yeah, I remember structure. What did they turn into? Let's look that up. What ever happened to structure? Rapid men's clothing store structure. Express for men. I didn't know that. Duke Cannon. No, Express. See, Benjamin knows what he's talking about. Funny enough. Oh no, I'm not into that. He says they went full on Metro. I'm not really into that. I'm really into the because I think that's a problem with men today, right? Is we're constantly I don't know, whatever. I mean, I think we're constantly being bombarded for being men, right? And I think that's kind of messed up. I think that there needs to be a place for men to be men, and there is considerable differences between the two, right? Men and women. That's just my beliefs. You can agree with them. You don't have to. But and I just want a place for guys that like guns that see. Okay, so here's another thing about the T-shirt things. Like there's plenty of T-shirts out there that are in your face, alpha male. Listen, I was a Marine. I've worked some stuff downrange. I've done some interesting things with some pretty scary people. But I don't need to wear that on my sleeve. I don't need to wear a shirt that tells you about all the things I did. I don't need that because I've done it. I don't need it. So I want to create shirts that aren't in your face, but they also have like a little bit of a twist. So for the guys that get it, get it. The guys that don't, right? So that's with the t-shirt angle. And then moving on forward, like, you know, axes or engraved axes or flasks with the Brothers Jack emblem on there, or coffee cups with, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, that's just my vision right now. It could change. All right. Let's see. So it was Duluth Trading Company, and what else? Let's look up similar. Similar to Duluth. I'm looking this up right now, so I have a weird look in my face. That's I don't know. Anyway, so that's where we're at. Oh, okay. So he was saying structure used to be what we were describing. You know, I don't remember. I mean, I remember the store, but I don't remember it that well. All right. So we've been talking for 40 minutes. What else?
Oh, wow.
Come on, guys. Let's have some questions. You got some questions? You might get some okay answers. What are you interested in? What do you want to learn about? What do you want to know about? By the way, I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you spending your time with us, because I have your undivided attention. I know that you're staying at your house. And I'm here providing entertainment for you. I'm trying to, anyway. Book suggestion. So Dan suggests Dan Crenshaw. Oh, that's something else I wanted to talk about. Not Dan Crenshaw. I'm sure it's a great book. But you did bring up a good idea, books that we're reading. And so I'm reading a book called The Artist's Way. Yeah. So I haven't finished it. I just downloaded it the other day, and called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And it's a spiritual path to create higher creativity. And the thing is a lot of, listen, everyone, you are a creative being, because, and you don't have to believe what I believe. That's fine if you don't. I don't care. But what I believe is, we were all created by a creator. That's just my personal belief. And again, you don't have to agree with me. But to be an artist is to create things. And if we are made in his image, we are creators too.
Absolutely.
And we are artists, and everyone is an artist. If you have the ability to create, I think, creating and artists are synonymous with each other. And I think a lot of people forget, or they're afraid, because they're afraid to roll the dice, whatever it is. Kind of like learning a skill or learning something new. Once you start learning that, going down that path of learning something, and then you take that and you can create stuff with it. Like, Daniel becoming, more of a carpentry, and then, doing the different, blacksmith stuff. That's really cool. You're creating. You are a creator. So anyway, this book, The Artist's Way, they have a couple exercises in there that I just started doing, and I've only been doing it for a week, but it's really interesting. So the first exercise is to get a journal, and this is the size of my journal. See, I've never been a good journaler. I've never have, but this is this is the inside. It's all lined. It's not too bad. But the whole thing is every day you wake up and you write for 3 pages. You just write for 3 pages. Streamline, consciously writing. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever you want to write about. It could be your past, it could be the present, it could be the future, it could be, I'm writing words right now because I have to. Blah, 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 whatever. And it has to be longhand. It has to be written out longhand, because it forces your brain to slow down and your hand to actually write it out. And the first couple of days was really tough. But it's interesting because like I said, I've been doing it for a week, and you fill out 3 pages, and when I tried journaling in the past, I could never do it because I never knew when to stop, or I didn't know what was important or what wasn't, or whatever. This has been fantastic. I know that I have 3 pages I got to fill. And every morning when I wake up, I set aside some time. I go down, and it could be it could be questions that you want answered. It could be like a little prayer, written prayer, whatever, or mental meditation, whatever. But just start writing for 3 pages. And so I've been doing that for the past week. And let me tell you something, that's been really, I'll give it 2 thumbs up. It's actually really good advice. I suggest that for everyone, no matter what you do, because it forces you to slow down and actually really develop the thoughts that are in your mind. Because when you're at that point, and so the whole point of that is, for the people that are right-brained and left-brained, usually when you start writing something, the logic brain steps in and says, that's stupid, don't write that. Or that's stupid, don't think about that. But when you're writing and that's the whole goal of the exercise, is to write whatever comes to mind. It lessens that resistance. So that way, when you do start using your creativity mind, that logical mind doesn't step in as much, if that makes any sense. So it's been a really good book. Exactly. Daniel says that's a good idea. Stimulates the neural network. It's true. And then the more you write, the more words you get out. You're just going to become a better wordsmith over time anyway, because as you're writing the stuff out, it's just gonna help. Tim, have you been reading any good books lately?
Honestly, not like I should be. That's something that I do want to do. I was just suggested a book. Let me look up the name so I get it right. Okay, yeah, it's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
That's a great book. That's a great book.
And that was something that I was suggested to read, and I think I'm going to take up on that offer.
Oh, you haven't read it yet?
No, I haven't read that yet.
Oh, dude, that's a great book.
That's awesome that you read that. I wasn't sure if you'd know of it.
No, yeah, I know it. It's a good book. It's basically talks about what we're talking about now, how we are, if you take the time to learn something over time, it's the compound effect of being consistent. Like if you're consistent every day, like if we started doing these Facebook Lives every day or weekly, we would develop a following. People would know that, oh man, those 2 guys giving horrible advice, I need to catch that show. It's on Tuesday nights at 6 or 7 o'clock. It happens every week. I got to be there. Or whatever, whatever you want to do, whether it be the Facebook Lives, writing something, blogging, whatever. The power of consistency over time, that is what is called a compound effect. It's kind of like the more you delve into something over time, it's going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. And that book is a really good book as far as kind of showing that. So yeah, that's a great, man, read that. And then we can talk about it. We can talk about it on here.
Sounds good to me.
So it's in the comments. Benjamin put up a link, how to get powered by grants. This is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Here's a link for those wanting to learn how to get 100K Google ad spent to steer into their for-profit or non-profit. So like I said, I had a phone call with him the other day, and he kind of went over the basic gist of it. For those that are into that, I mean, that's actually a really pretty good idea. So be sure to check that out. If you have a business and you're wanting to get more money for ads, that's a good way to go. They have a way to do that for you. So Daniel's read it too. Daniel, what did you get out of it? So Daniel's read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Actually, Daniel Hardy, what was his background? Darren. His was pretty... Oh, he was the former publisher of Success Magazine. That's what.
That makes sense.
Yeah. He might know. Success. Yeah.
Another book, my friend just read it. It's been on my list that I haven't bought it yet, is Trust Me, I'm Lying. And I think it's perfect for the time that we're in. It's basically how media is, manipulating our minds to be even more afraid of things and all that.
We could go down a rabbit hole there.
Yes.
It's interesting because I've taken... Okay, so those of you that don't know, some of you do. I spent some time in the military. I've done a lot of different things. I actually have a degree in intelligence studies. So I've taken a bunch of courses on intelligence. I've taken a bunch of courses on different things, and one of them was called denial and deception. That was the scariest class I've ever taken. And it's funny because every class I took in that degree, there's a saying that they say this, paranoia is just 100% awareness. Now, if you think about that, that's true, because it is 100% awareness. Like, they are out to get you. Anyway, so the whole point of denial and deception is basically you're denying people information, or your deception, or there's also spin, there's misdirection, there's so many things, and you can see it in today, especially with media on the right and left, both sides do it. Yep. Spinning things or manipulating things in order to get their and the thing is we all know it, but nothing is done about it. So yep. I try not social engineering. He says Daniel pops in there. Yep. And here again, whenever we do these shows, I don't want to get too political or too religious or too, not that I'm against any of that. It's just, these are some topics that can really go off the rails real quick.
Yes.
Well, Daniel also, he says that's the media's point. Also, I think it's, honestly, I think it's as base as advertising. They know that if they can get more eyeballs on their perspective side by, preying on the fear, preying on this, preying on that, they're going to get those people to spend, have more eyeballs on their channel, which creates more advertising dollars. So, back in the day, before there was a 24-hour news cycle, it was all about local news, and it was all about news and real news. And Walter Cronkite would actually just read the news. Like, he was just like, and today this happened. There was no talking heads. They weren't telling you what to think. It was like, today, this is what happened. Oh, that's I'm glad, because now I can use my own brain to think about what happened. And now it's not like that anymore. It's like, well, I think this, blah, 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 blah. Well, and it's like, well, where are you basing that information? And it's interesting because I've done some other things in the past, and I worked for something where they collected data, right? Just data management. And something I learned from data management standpoint is statistics can be skewed one way or another. And it's all about what went into creating that data set. And if you don't know what created that data set, then people using statistics, what is it? 30% of all statistics are made up on the spot. See, I just made that up. You don't know that for sure. Like, exactly. Anyway. Anywho. So, yes, that's a good book. Another good book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. That's a fantastic book. It's about a guy, so basically, Man's Search for Meaning it's a very thought-provoking book. And the guy that wrote it, he survived 4 concentration camps during World War II. And it was pretty amazing. And so the whole point of his book, so he was a psychologist by trade, and he was wondering why. So the statistics were, and I just talked about statistics, but I believe these, but 1 out of 25 survived. So that means 25 people died and 1 person lived. And so him as a psychologist, he was really curious about what made that 1 person survive. Like, what made the difference between this person that kept going after, just all the hardship that they had to face versus the 25 people that gave up or just died. And so he came up with this book, and it's a really thought-provoking. It's a fantastic book. I suggest anybody that has issues right now, or has anxiety, or has whatever, read that book. It will definitely give you a new perspective to look at things from. Or it definitely gives you a new thought process to look at things from. But yeah, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, another great book.
Was that a book you read last year?
It wasn't that long ago. It was,
okay.
Yeah, it was last year.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, it was a very it's very eye-opening. And apparently it's really popular. A lot of people know about it. I didn't. And see, that's an amazing thing. See, that's something that I consistently find amazing about getting involved with different entrepreneurial ideas or thoughts. When you get involved in something and you get surrounded by it, you think that, oh, everybody knows about this, but they don't.
Yep.
So here's a book that was written in the 50s that has changed the world in a lot of different ways. And I just found out about it last, a couple months ago. Here again, Tim and I, we got involved with something called the One Funnel Away Challenge last year by a guy named Russell Brand, and they do ClickFunnels, and we learned a lot about marketing. We learned a lot about, and there's millions of people that know about it, but I didn't until last year. Tim didn't until last year. And so that's another thing is when you get involved in something and you get overwhelmed by it, you think, well, who's going to change because of whatever? You're going to be that one person that's going to share that message, whatever it is, and it could be ClickFunnels, it could be your own business, it could be the hardships that you went through. You can take that knowledge and go help someone else out with that. And like I said, you're going to think, well, it's overwhelming, or they're not going to know about it, or they already know about it. They may not. They may be waiting for you to come along and share that knowledge with them. And that's what keeps me going a lot of times, because a lot of times, there's a lot of times in my past I thought, well, people should know about this. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they really don't know about this, certain things. And it's been so life-changing for me. And so, and that's one of my biggest things that I like. I like connecting people with ideas, thoughts. I mean, for those of you that followed my Facebook for any amount of time, that's something that I'm really, I don't know if I'm any good at it, but that's something I try to do, is I try to connect people with good thoughts, good books, good ideas, and good living.
I totally agree with what you're saying about that. And it's kind of weird because there's like a flip side to it too. It's like you find out something awesome, you go learn about it, you're like, this is awesome. And then you think everybody needs to know about it, but you hit like a point where you're learning so much from the people who already know so much about it that you start feeling like everybody knows about it and that you won't be successful helping other people know about it. And right. and it's weird because you kind of get caught up in this separate world of learning about it where everybody else is kind of on the same path that you're on, or they're already learning about it. So then you forget that like there's tons of people out there who don't know what you're doing.
That's true. I just had to pop this up real quick.
No, by all means.
Free t-shirt caption idea: coronavirus or Controlavirus? The choice. Oh, that's really good.
I love that. I mean, I just kind of back to the whole media thing. I mean, and look at like what China's doing. They're trying to control everybody by putting out like, this is what's happening, and then like everyone's like, that's what's going on with the virus, and then there's like a report that like will come out that's like, no, that's not really what's happening.
Hey, let me tell you something. I have a degree in intelligence studies.
Yes.
I don't really believe anything that's coming out of China.
No, me neither. Me neither. Honestly, I let's put up that question.
That's a good question. All right, here we go. Do you think this virus could be man-made?
Yes, I do.
It could be. There's a possibility.
And
it's not beyond It's not beyond the realm of impossibility.
I totally think that it could be. Now, I don't want to get into like a rabbit hole of possible reasons why it was released.
I don't have my tinfoil hat ready to go yet. Right? Actually, that's what we need to do, man. We need to have like a tinfoil hat section. And now it's time for our tinfoil hat time. And we can talk about the conspiracy theories that we know about, and then we can take it off and be like, okay, now we're done. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great idea. We should do that. But I totally think so. I think there's possibilities it's not. It could just be something that.
Well, here's my conspiracy theory. And here again, let me just go ahead and throw this out there. Well, of course, I'm not going to tell it. Daniel says they're absolutely not going to tell us the truth. But here's the thing. 5G. Oh my gosh, 5G. See, I don't know enough about that to even talk about it. I know that's been a big issue lately. But let's talk about, here's the thing. I've worked for the government pretty much my whole adult life. And there's a lot of like conspiracy theories and there's a lot of different things out there. Honestly, I just don't think we're smart enough to pull off. Or it would take too many people to be quiet about, because heck, we can't keep anything secret. But I'm not saying, but there are some things like I could see that. The virus being man-made, yeah, I could see that. And I could see them, because here's the thing. What was going on in China before this broke out? Hong Kong. Yep. Everybody was fighting for their freedom. They were doing independence and blah, 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 blah. This virus comes out. Now I don't know what's going on in Hong Kong. Everybody stopped. Everybody's, and would they release it on their own people? Maybe. I don't know.
I think that it was also kind of, I mean, this is speculation or whatever, but that there's a lot of kind of headbutting between America and China. And I think that they wanted to get back at Trump, who's been trying to put jabs at the trade with us. Another theory is that China and Japan really hate each other, and Japan was going to do the Olympics.
What? No, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
I think that I think, to me, this is my theory. I think that there's enough opportunity for them to feel like, yes, we should go ahead and do this. We're going to get America. We're going to get the Hong Kong thing. We're going to stop.
Here's the thing that irritates me the most about all this. This is the thing that irritates me the most is, had this started in America and swept the world, everybody would be coming after us to pay for the disruption of the economy. But China does it, and it's like, oh well, it's China. We shouldn't expect anything else. Yeah. And that's what's crazy about it. It's just like, how in the world? But I don't know. It's a crazy world we live in, and obviously there's crazy times we live in too. But that was pretty cool. I enjoyed the tinfoil hat section of our time here together today. So my question, we come up to an hour, and I think an hour is good. So for those of you that are watching this, do you enjoy this? Would you
what
like
were
to
some
see?
of the highlights?
I don't know if there were any highlights. Maybe the highlights. Well, the highlights for me are the folks participating in the conversation.
Yeah, seriously,
that was a highlight. Because I enjoy the give and take, and I enjoy getting other people's perspectives. And you kept it relatively. Actually, you kept it really clean, and I appreciate that. That's another thing about this show is I would like to keep it PG 13 ish. Not you, just people commenting, people in the questions. Everybody was very very give and take, and I appreciate that. So that was a highlight for me. I think the book thing would be a good topic. Conspiracy theories are always good to talk about. What else? Ideas, thoughts, visions, goals, mindset, stories. I don't know. So, like I said, yes.
There
because save the last 10 minutes of the Tinfoil Hat Club. That's actually because if you're with us for this whole amount of time, you're a diehard fan anyway.
Yeah, that's true too. That's so true.
It's actually straight dope. Okay. It's actually straight dope. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. You should definitely do this. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. We'll do this again then.
Yeah, and you guys, please participate as much as you want. I really enjoyed going off of what you guys said. And
well, like I said, this is the whole point of this style of Facebook Live, right? I want to maybe do a weekly talk show, loose terms, whatever, and we'll talk about whatever. And that's why I was kind of like, hey, ask your they're not stupid questions, but ask your questions, and we'll give you what we got. You need personal accountability minute. So what would that be?
Yeah, that's my question as well.
So Daniel, what do you mean by that? We would hold you accountable?
Yeah, you better show up.
Yeah. We'll come to your house. I don't know where you live. And so then we could, we might make this into a YouTube channel. Two guys giving horrible advice. Or a Facebook page, I think eventually we'd have to make it into a Facebook page because I don't want everybody on my personal page.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll give this 5 more minutes because I want to get the conversation. I want to get Daniel's response. Personal accountability. So the last 10 minutes will be the Tinfoil Hat Club. and maybe we can come up with actually tinfoil hats. What else? First 10 minutes could be recap, right? No. Or actually, this would be another great thing, is we could actually provide, next time, we'll provide see, my brain is just not working, an email that people can send questions to.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then, and then we could, in fact, you can do that now for this time only. Joshua of all trades, I can't post on here. Wait, maybe I can. If I do it on here, Joshua of all trades at gmail.com, show subject line, 2 guys giving bad
Send
advice.
it to me and I'll post it, and then
Yeah, I'm doing it now. Wait,
okay.
2 guys giving horrible advice. Actually, we need to come up with a better name. 2 guys giving horrible advice. So if you have any questions, be sure to use that Gmail account, Joshua of all trades at Gmail. Subject, excuse me, almost. Oh my God, excuse me.
And our show's canceled.
Yeah, and it's done. Oh my God! At least it was out this end. Subject line: 2 guys giving horrible advice. We may change the name. I don't know. This is fly by the seat of our pants. New ideas. Okay, why it's called personal accountability. Tell everyone to comment what standard they have set for themselves. Oh, that's actually. So this is his idea. Why it's called personal accountability. Tell everyone to comment what standard they have set for themselves or held for themselves for the week. And then we can go over that the next week. Like, hey, what'd you do? So it would be like a personal coaching. And and that's another thing. Tim and I, we also do consulting. Yes. So if you have a business-related question or a thought or some ideas you want to go over, send those to us too. And we'll give you some bad advice. Actually, we're going to try to give you some best advice, but if it comes out, use at your own peril. But we'll try to give you the best advice we can give. But like I said, use that email for now, and then over the next week we'll come up with some hopefully a better name, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll see, and see. Like I said, this is where ideas are born, right? Because we are stuck at home and we can't do anything else. So who knows? This might be the start of something beautiful, my friends. Like to help people keep focused on their goals.
I would like.
I'm down for that. So 2 guys giving horrible advice and accountability. Anyway, all right. Well, hey everyone, I appreciate you being here. Oh, by the way, what time would be better? I mean, because obviously it's Tuesday. Yeah. Would Wednesday be better?
What days and what time frames?
Well, I like this time frame. I like the 6:30 time frame, and I think if we did this weekly, maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so 7:30 your time. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll use our Facebook to get the word out what we're doing. So next week. What do you guys think? Tuesday, Wednesday? Because I gotta have my video game time too. So that's that's Tuesday. All right, we'll do it next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 6:30 will be the next show at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This has been fun. I think this has been a good thing.
Yeah.
This actually went on a lot. It went better than I thought. And
it went well.
I said, by the way, gosh, I could keep going, man. I really probably could. I could probably go for another hour. By the way, seriously, if you have some things that you want us to look up, be sure to use that Gmail account, Joshua of all trades at gmail.com. We will come up with a better contact next time. But maybe there's a conspiracy theory that you want us to look up and we can talk about next time.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a business idea that you want us to look up and we can talk about next time. Or maybe there's whatever. you send us your ideas and we'll look at it. And if it's something that's in line with what we can do or we want to talk about, well, then that's what we'll talk about next time. So, all right, guys. Hey, God bless you all. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
Tim, thanks for being with me today. Thank you for being
Josh.
Thank you for being my co-partner. In fact, and it's funny because when I talked to him literally at 6:30, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I just got finished with my day. What's up? Hey, if you're up to it, why don't we do a show? so this was literally by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
And
not expecting this at all.
No, not at all. And I think, and for Tim doing his first live, I think he did fantastic.
Thank you. I don't even have Facebook picture.
I know. See, this is the thing, guys. This is another thing, and here we are. We're still going. Tim is successful at Amazon. You go to his Facebook page, he's a ghost, and it's funny because my first dealing with Tim is he reached at the end of our course last year. I put out an all call for, hey, if anybody wants to join a group of mine, that we can help each other out. Well, he reached out, and I thought he was a bot. I thought you were a fake account because I Facebook stalk everybody that sends me a friend request, and because just being in law enforcement in my past, I always want to make sure that who I'm talking to is who I'm talking to, and not something else or China. and so yeah, man, I was like, who is this? And then he actually started talking to me, and I'm like, who is this? But then we became good friends, and we've actually done some business together. And he's, like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge, great guy. You're going to come to know him over the next few weeks, and really great guy, a lot of great knowledge. So, all right,
thank you.
Okay, everyone, appreciate it. Like I said, we could probably keep on going, but we're going to end it now. We're going to try to keep these at an hour long. I know we could probably keep on going just because some of the conversations go really well. But like I said, send us an email on subjects you would like to talk about, whether they be business, conspiracy theories, other weird paranormal ideas. Hey, we can talk about that too. I enjoy talking about that stuff. Consider this your Facebook Coast to Coast, if you're familiar with that show. So, all right, guys, take care. God bless, and we'll see y'all next week at Tuesday, 6:30 Central Standard Time. Take care.